So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to find the motivation to do the hard work. And this is something that I personally struggled with, that whenever I would write down the tasks that I would have to do, I didn't really want to do them. And this is something that I suffered for almost a decade. And I didn't understand why that was. And then if I go on YouTube and I hear someone like Donald Trump or Warren Buffett, they always said that you got to do something that you're passionate about. And the reason I don't want to retire is that I love what I do. And I want to be active and I want to be engaged and I want to keep working. And these are the guys, it didn't make any sense that these guys don't really need to work for the next 3 lifetimes and still they bother to work. And I never really understood, and I thought that there was something wrong with me, or maybe that I have a work ethic problem, that I don't feel like working, whereas them, they just wake up in the morning and they're on. And even this guy, Jamie Dimon, who is, I think, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, he got cancer at a point and he was still coming to the office. He didn't want to lay down in the bed. He wanted to come to the office. So I really didn't understand what is it that is driving these people. Is it just the love of the activity itself, or is there something deeper going on? And I kept finding, and I could not point out anything that I was so passionate about that I would want to do it for 10, 12 hours. You know, I was really passionate about yoga. I was passionate about dating and women and all of this, but still, you know, I wouldn't say that I could do this, 10, 12 hours a day without, even if I don't get paid, So they always said that choose something that you can do the whole day without being paid and then wrap your career around it. And then you will be able to do the work effectively. But that advice wasn't working well for me, and I didn't understand what the hell is going on. Why do I not want to do certain tasks? And when I started to build my company and I started to do started to look at multi-million-dollar deals, I was doing presentations, there were some aspects of the business I enjoyed and I was very effective at it. And there are certain other aspects that I didn't really enjoy. And I started to look deeper and deeper. And I really wanted to quit because it was so stressful. And there were times when I wanted to quit. And I would have discussions with my brother. What is it? What are the reasons behind it? I don't understand. I don't want to do this, And then my brother, he shared something with me that anything that you're not good at, you wouldn't want to do. And anything that does not have enough financial incentive, you would not want to do. Because business is not about passion necessarily, because passion is very transitory thing. One time you like something, you really love something, you're passionate about it. Next moment, you're not that passionate about it. So what is it? What is passion, and how to find that motivation and how to find that passion? Now that we've highlighted the problem, let's look into the solution. So business, in my view, is about return on time. How much time did I put in and what did I get in return? I don't think any activity is bad or good by itself. What makes it good or bad simply depends on what you get out of it or what you produce out of it. Do you value what you produce or not? If that thing that you're doing and what you produce is not valuable enough, then why bother at all? And why get into it? And why invest your valuable time that you will never have back in something that even doesn't produce something that you value? So I started to notice that whenever I would enter into a clinic or a company that was worth around $1 to $2 million, I wasn't that interested in that company. And I started to think in my head that I'm not interested in doing mergers and acquisitions at all. And I started to associate that lack of interest with my career. But that wasn't the case, because when I made a $25 million deal and when I would speak to $1 billion CEO, those are the aspects that I really loved. And it wasn't the glamour part, but it was a potential return that I could get. That just got me excited. And then I started to see that all of these super ultra successful individuals were playing big games. The bigger the game, the more worth it is to wake up in the morning. Otherwise, if the task that you have to perform as a part of your work is going to give you $5,000, $3,000, $4,000, that too even at the end of the month, why would you feel motivated to do it? It doesn't make any sense that you would feel motivated to do this thing. Yes, you have to do it maybe for survival reasons, but it can't be that you're so passionate about it that you're just, wanting to do it all the time. Especially if you're someone ambitious. Like me, I was very ambitious, I'm still ambitious. And I saw there were these other people who were not that ambitious. I have a school friend who just wanted to live in Europe and have a good life, that's it. So she became a school teacher and she's absolutely happy. She wanted to maybe get married to a white guy, and she found herself a white boyfriend and she's good. That's all that she wanted. But I wanted things that were so grand, so huge, so magnificent that I almost lost interest in mundane things. I remember I always had problems, organizing things, organizing my cupboard and all of that. And then I realized the reason I have a problem is because there is no incentive. So what? I cleaned the fucking cupboard. So what? What am I going to get out of it, right? But so I started to look into what the reason is for motivation, and I realized that it's really what is the return on time. What value does that activity have? What financial value does that activity have? I remember one time Grant Cardone said that a $5 million problem, I don't know if I will be motivated enough to deal with it. I don't know if I want to deal with a $5 million lawsuit. It's not something that I would want to deal with. It's a problem, and I wouldn't want to get up in the morning for that. But a $50 million lawsuit, oh boy, I could gather some energy to go for that. So it's really about stakes, and it's really about increasing those stakes and playing the big game, and then suddenly the motivation changes. The whole experience of what you're doing shifts because it's worth your time, and it really matches that thing that you're working on, really matches your capability. And when I was working for my brother for a while, I had a very menial job to do, and I would get a decent amount of pay. But I always felt that I'm not playing big enough. And the motivation and passion comes when you are doing something big. It doesn't matter what it is, but when you're doing something big. When the stakes are high, motivation will come. It doesn't matter what it is. And one of the things that I struggled with is because I'm in healthcare. And I wasn't particularly passionate about needles or injections or nurses. Maybe nurses I could be passionate about, but the needles, injections, and surgical rooms, like these types of conversations would just depress me, because you think about diseases and all of this. But when you talk about money, $10 million, $25 million, $100 million group, I could fight. I could bring some fight out for $100 million, even $10 million, $50 million, right? And I'm willing to suffer, but I'm willing to suffer for the right price. And I would happily suffer as long as there is a potential for me making it big. So that's where you find the motivation. It's not about finding the motivation for something that you're not interested in or something that doesn't pay you well. How do you find motivation to do that? Well, you're not going to find motivation to do that. You will find motivation to go after the big dreams. And the path, I don't give a fuck how it happens. Okay, if it happens in healthcare, if it happens doing mergers and acquisitions or real estate, I don't care. All I want is the big outcome and the big life. So that's the video on motivation. And if you look at all the super successful people, the reason they love it is because the stakes are high, and the potential to make a lot of money actually governs the motivation part. So that's for today's video, and I'll talk to you soon.